I've been sitting with and I've been utilizing this practice for myself. I've given it to several people, and we're all kind of enjoying it. And the practice is let them, let them. So it's very easy to get caught up in what other people think, what other people are up to, what they're doing. And there's a lot of layers of obsession that people have with what other people are doing. And this is, so this is a, okay, we're going to get into it a little bit here. So, something I notice from my own perspective is, you know, there's people out there in the world doing things, saying things, believing things, behaving in a way, all of which are uh, not the way I would go about things, not the way I view things, not the way I would respond or handle things, and certainly not a way that I have any interest in being. So usually with when it's the collective, I don't really care, because the other piece of this topic that I'm going over today is, who the fuck cares what anybody else thinks? So that's on a large scale. I don't care what people think about anything, really, unless it's somebody that I have a personal relationship with, or I'm just interested in somebody's take or perspective. But truly, as a whole, I really don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about anything. It has nothing to do with me. Okay. And that's a beautiful place to be in, because believe me, I was not always in that place. But people in your life. So people in your life, people that you interact with on a daily basis or somewhat daily basis, people that are in your field, in your zone, in your family, in your friend circle or whatever. Sometimes they're saying, doing something that could normally be like annoying, or it's just something that's happening in your day. You go to the grocery store, you go somewhere, and someone's doing something that you're just like, what the fuck is happening here? um Instead of going into the like, oh my god, well, like, what is wrong with them? Or and business people, people that you're partnered with, people that are clients, customers, things like that. You could get into like, what are they thinking? Or how do they even like, how do they even like survive in a day? But like, what is this person even doing? And you even just that, what is this person even doing? Like, you just say, let them, and you leave it. And I didn't like make that up. But I've really been using it. So this could even just be like, with a parent, a family member, you're not seeing eye to eye on something. There's like a little, like, silly little anything. You just, before you get all wrapped up and caught up and pulled in, let them. Okay. And so then we take it on a collective, on a larger scale. Um, we see things all day, every day, that are viewpoints that are not our own, people that you were not interested perhaps in seeing in our algorithm, um, people that we've known for our whole lives that, maybe see things from a very calcified, small perspective, small lens, and they're really locked into a belief or an assumption about the world or about how things work or whatever. And you know that that's not the deal. Okay. But instead of feeling like you have to comment on it, um, spend energy on it, figure it out, figure out how can they at this point still be believing in this thing and this XYZ when all of this there's all this evidence that it's another way. How could they still be perceiving it this way? How are they still locked into the same beliefs as like 10, 15 years ago? They've never opened up, they've never expanded their perspective. We want to do that, and instead of that, let them let them I mean, wow, people getting mad about people being just very angry. Like it's very interesting to me how people will dedicate, their whole lives or majority of their lives to hating a person, a person they don't even know personally. Okay. But hating a person, really spend time and energy on it. Doesn't mean there's not people out there in the world that you're not into what they're doing and you'd rather not have anything to do with that person. You'd rather not that person continue doing things that they're doing because they may be harmful to the earth, to the collective world, to your well-being. There's people out there in the world trying to dictate what's up for everybody. So you just have to kind of do, what, let them. Because here's the thing: any of that, any of that getting caught up into it, it's just even like seeing a post that you don't agree with, and just like or a something, or a, just what, let them. Do I have to comment? And now we're in a time where everybody is so obsessed with what everybody thinks about everything. Like everybody all of a sudden must know your views and opinions on every single topic, every narrative that's out there. People are just, they've got to know what you think about it. Why? Why do you have to know? Why does anybody care? Why does anybody care what anybody else thinks about anything? And that's the thing. Who the fuck cares what anybody else thinks about anything? Really? What does it have to do with you? Nothing. So people wonder why they're exhausted, why they're sick, why they're exhausted, why they're tired all the time. Well, because they're really spending a lot of energy on a lot of things that are outside of them, and giving all of these things outside of them, granting them authority over their well-being, over how they feel in a day, over their mood, over their just over their energy. Spending all this time and energy just so concerned with things that are made up narratives, made up conflict, political theater. Like it's none of it's fucking real. Okay. And it's real for you if you make it real. And just like we've been talking about here very extensively, nothing outside of you really can continue that you don't want to participate in. Nothing can really exist outside of you that you don't want to participate in unless you consent to it and you actively participate in it. So we can say all day long, I don't consent to that idea. I don't consent to that narrative. I'm not participating in this. I'm not getting pulled into this. This is not where I'm putting my focus, attention, and energy. And guess what? You won't get more of it. You don't get more of it. When you stop focusing and giving your energy to something, it disappears. It's not in your algorithm. The people that you hate are not in your field all the time. There isn't something to be annoyed about every day, all day long, because you decide that my day's great. People respond positively to me. I have positive experience throughout the day. Reality is rigged in my favor. Any of the things that you want to that we say in here, that we every day in the morning we say how the day is going to go, and throughout the day we remind ourselves of what's really real. And those are all based in self-authority, self-trust, self-knowing, and the knowing of the truth, which is my reality reflects what I decide it to reflect ultimately. So people that are constantly getting yanked in because they're stuck in a loop of rage bait, like they're falling for it. Like everything else, it's like 99% of what's out there is rage bait in the world, and people are just falling for it, and their lives are being taken from them and they don't realize it. And I had to also make a declaration to myself where sometimes I get very sad and upset. Like I get sad for people that they're really missing out on what life is about because they're so locked into the rage bait. They're so locked into hating someone, and that's like and commenting on it and pronouncing and like they're making declarations all day about how terrible somebody is, how they can do no right. And even, it's like that is that none of that's important, but they've been pulled into the thing. So I've had to myself decided, let them, let them. People are going to people have to make their own decisions for themselves. Okay. Um, it's not my job to wake people up. That's not what I'm here to do. Some people, that's their line of work. That's their destiny to wake people up. That's not what I'm here to wake up myself and whoever wants to join me. I want to evolve, be more masterful in myself, my life, my consciousness. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to create. I want to love. I want to, and create great, just like enjoy this life. Um, and experience life like in a grand way, and get it and become better and better and better. um that's not for everyone. Okay, so let them. So the other side of let them is love them, because when it's people that you care about, and it's people maybe that you have been in your life for a very long time, and maybe because um there's an agenda to divide people, and there's an agenda and there's a psychological operation to literally make people hate people that see things in a different way. That's a real thing, and people have fallen for it, you know so you could try to get people to see things from your perspective. But we all know that many people aren't, they may ask to hear your perspective, but they're not really interested in understanding your perspective, because the viewpoint is so calcified and so stuck that they're not able to open up, see nuance, see layers, see from 100 different perspectives all at the same time, and then not even have to like pull into any one of them. You could just be and just know things, and it's okay. And this is on all sides of the spectrum. Um, you know so you could try to like explain yourself, prove yourself, give the evidence, give the proof, or whatever the fuck, somebody's like requiring of you. Or you could just be like, let them. And ultimately we're in a collective consciousness, so you've got to say, just let them and just love them. Just let them and love them. It doesn't mean every single person has to remain in your life forever. It doesn't mean that you have to hang out with and spend time with people that um you really just can't like be human beings with. And that's another psychological operation. um why can't you hang with people that see from different lenses? But some people have made it difficult to do that because they've decided that if you see things from a different lens than they do, then they can't associate with you anymore, which is just, again, these are all observations, some experience, but let them and love them. My view is if you really enjoy hanging out with a person, and if you like a person, and if you are intrigued by a person, and if you enjoy something that someone's putting out into the world, then who the fuck cares what their opinions are on XYZ narratives of the world? Who the fuck cares? If you like how you feel when you're around something, who the fuck cares? Like what they think about certain things. But again, there's this obsession with what everybody else thinks. But here's the thing, if you have self authority, which is, I trust myself so much, I love myself so much, I know who I am to such a degree that nothing anybody says or thinks outside of me will shake that or move that. So it just doesn't matter. I don't need people to agree with me. I don't need people to see things from my perspective. I don't need people to know my perspective or opinion. I don't care if people know what I think or don't. They like keep people on their toes. Like, you're never going to know what I truly think about anything because I don't have to put it out there publicly because guess what? It's nobody's fucking business unless I decide I want to share that with somebody. Everybody wants to make their opinions everybody else's business and shove it down their throat. And I think that's hilarious. But again, we're in a weird world, and that's by design. That's a trap. It's very bizarre. But anyway, let them and love them. Let them and love them, and stop giving your authority away. Stop giving your authority away. Nobody, like, allowing something outside of you to move you to create like rabid emotion, like to take you from 0 to 100 in a moment. You are just giving it away, and you're wasting your life. um you know like, no one can, like, who cares? Stop caring. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And another thing is, um everyone in your world, everyone in your, the way you're treated, the way people respond to you, that's all a reflection of how you view yourself. So the deeper your real true love for your existence and who you are and all your facets and all of that, and just knowing that you're an infinite you're an infinite being, you're infinite consciousness. You are, I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you just know you're the source, like, when you know that, when you understand that, and when you have like self-trust, self-knowing, you know that it's you and you decide for you. um you can't be swayed by the outside world, because the outside world is it's an illusion. It's not solid. It seems solid, but it moves every second. It molds to who you're being and what your assumptions are. And it just gives you back everything that you're continuously putting out there in from your mind, which we talk about all the time in here. So just let them, you know, who says so? It's like, who says that this is something I have to comment on? Who says that this is actually what's going on or not going on? Who says? Who says? I say. I'm the only one that gets to say for me. what's going on out there. And the more you root into that, the more energy you have, the more creative you feel, the lighter you feel, the more fun you have. Um, People just take all these things that are just not real very seriously. It's real to them because they've made it real. They've consented to it. They participate in it. They give it their authority. They relinquish their own self authority to concepts, norms, narratives, from all degrees, from all levels and layers. Just like the simplest, from the simplest to the most seemingly complicated. How things work, how things are. Things are how you say they are, unless you consent to another idea. Like, who says that this is the best way to eat? Who says this is, you know, a way you have to believe or not believe? And if you don't believe it this way, then you're this way. It's very funny out there. But anyway, like the whole point is like I need energy, or I want to have energy and enjoy my life. So, there's a lot less participation when you decide that's the kind of life you want to lead. You just participate less in what's going on. And I find myself all the time, like, I see something and I'm just like, ugh, no. Like for me to be able to say about a certain like evil overlord, let them. It's a huge evil overlord that's trying to poison us all. Like actively trying to poison and like murder the population. For me to just say, let them, it has nothing to do with me, because guess what? I don't consent. I don't participate. And guess what? That's not my world. That's not the reality that I live in. Like, I'm no longer going to get all caught up in all that, you know? I'm not getting all caught up in, yeah, you can, again, that's why I say it's like any topic. Think of any topic of the world or any situation of the world that is bothersome to you. Okay. I get There's certain things that really get me going, that are current situations of the time we're living in. And, for me to just say, like, let them, and really command that my reality is shifting into a space where it's like literally good for all, but also to understand that there are infinite time streams in reality simultaneously happening at the same time. So I can I can move into a timeline that doesn't have all these other things going on. Like, that isn't just like every fucking food ingredient is poison, that doesn't have that. And again, and that doesn't have all the people that are mad at the people trying to take poison out of food. Like, that, again, another thing where I'm like, my mind is fucking blown. Like, why wouldn't you just want options to be healthy? And also at the same time, nobody should be forcing anybody to eat or not eat anything. Whatever. But like, why is poison just naturally in the food to begin with? This is a topic I've been on for like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you have to be like, not in my reality. In my reality, there's always like healthy options. Like, I see like how I only see healthy options out there. Like, I only see clean foods. Like, access to clean food is easy for me. I am always finding the thing that I want to find easily. Like, all of those, it's like, it's not, you know, you have to be observant of where you're getting wrapped up in something that doesn't need your energy. You could just say everything is perfect. And you could just say, let them and love them. And you could just say, I understand that there's simultaneously so many different things like going on at the same time. And I choose to be on the trajectory and on the path and in the moment of now of everything moves in my favor. And my reality reflects abundance, beauty, creativity, love, absolute hilariousness and ridiculousness and amusement, great people, always opportunities, um, and just positive experience. And yeah, 3D is going to 3D, but we're the ones that have the choice to give it our attention, our energy, or not. Like, are you gonna succumb to the rage bait? And again, this is on every level. This is your personal life, personal habits, personal things, your existing habits and awareness that we're moving past or quantum jumping moment to moment every day into new timelines, into an elevated identity, into our desired identity. Okay, that doesn't deal with a lot of these things or doesn't cross paths with a lot of these things, and whose algorithm overall in a sense is like really giving me the things I want to see. And that's the truth. Everything's an algorithm. So your social media, your whatever, everything's an algorithm. So when you start to see things in your algorithm that are annoying, pissing you off, bothering you, you just can't believe it. Then you have to take a moment and you just have to decide, is this something I'm going to give my personal authority away to? Am I going to consent to this? Am I going to participate in this? And it doesn't mean you don't participate in anything. It doesn't mean you're not out in real life, in the real world. You're not a yogi in a cave. But it's like I can participate, but not be like, I don't take it with me. I don't hold it in my cells. I'm not getting sick because I'm angry every day. Like, where literally that's happening, like in the collective. I mean, people are, again, sickness, ailments, exhaustion. You better believe it's because, much of that has to do with the rage bait and allowing yourself to be so angry at things that have nothing to do with you and people that have nothing to do with you. And you're living in fate, which means you let things happen to you and you allow things to happen with taking no authority. So we want to have authority over ourselves. And then that allows us, the rooted authority in ourselves, which is why we do these practices. So that becomes so we're so deeply rooted, ingrained, like immovable, unshakable, unwaverable to who we actually really are, that we could just say, let them, whatever the thing is. And then in that moment, then decide, no, it's this way for me. This is the experience I choose to have. Okay. It just felt like something that needed to be said. But honestly, I gotta say the let them practice, because it also makes me laugh. I mean, this is even just like somebody being real weird at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Let them. Whatever kind of characters you got going on, let them. Someone in your business field, let them. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. The less you care about what people think about you, the more freedom you have. And this isn't like I don't care what anybody thinks about me. It's more just like, I know who I am. I don't, what other people think of me is irrelevant to me. And I understand that other people's behavior towards me is a reflection of how I view myself and a reflection of how I assume that person's going to show up for me. So if you have conflict with people or a person, it's because you're assuming and expecting conflict from that person. And you don't have to solve it all or do anything. You just say, like, you know what? This person's perfect and all our interactions are perfect. And you could just leave it there. And then you say, let them, like, and these, that is a practice that I use and works. Because instead of sitting there obsessing about the conflict with the person and creating it and creating it and creating it and creating it, whether that's by you're imagining an argument or a confrontation that has never happened before. So by then you're just literally manifesting that conflict and interaction, like negative interaction, or you keep replaying something that happened in the past that doesn't even exist anymore. And you just keep recreating the whole thing now and now and now and now and now and now. You just keep recreating it again, manifesting more of that. So if you just stop yourself and say, hold up, that's all being part of, like, what am I being aware of right now? Um, you know, you just, you know what? They're perfect. They're perfect. I'm perfect. All our interactions are perfect. And let them and love them and whatever, because who cares? Okay, let's tune in.